Well, if you're someone that's still listening to music on a Walkman and booting up your Tamagotchi on the regular, then I have good news because Y2K is the brand new horror comedy that's gonna make you feel like you just got transported right back to the year 1999. No frosted tips or parachute pants required, unfortunately, but a guy can dream. So Y2K is the latest movie from A24, directed by Kyle Mooney, and basically it's about two high school juniors crashing a New Year's Eve party at the turn of the century in the hopes of getting laid, but instead they find themselves in the middle of the computer-induced apocalypse as they try to enslave the human race. So business as usual, pretty much. So jumping right in here, this is definitely a movie that I was excited for when I heard that it was being made, because I am a Kyle Mooney fan back to the Good Neighbor Stuff days, and I always enjoyed seeing him pop up during his stint on Saturday Night Live. And if you're someone that actually grew up in the 90s, you know that there is just an endless supply of stupid gadgets and ugly trends that make it the perfect backdrop for a horror comedy, especially when you center it around something as ridiculous as the whole Y2K phenomenon. So my expectations for this movie were pretty straightforward. I wanted to laugh, and I wanted to feel nostalgic. And after seeing the film for myself, I'm happy to say that it pretty much gave me the exact kind of experience I was expecting out of it. A lot of people have been saying that the best way to describe this movie is that it's pretty much a combination between Superbad and This Is the End, and it doesn't reach the heights of either of those two films, but I think it does a pretty good job capturing the essence of what would happen if those two movies somehow melded together. I mean, come on, two high school loners go to a party with dreams of finally losing their virginity, but little do they know they're about to witness the Y2K robot uprising. This is the obvious love child of those two projects. And even though this is set in the 90s, it's still kind of applicable today given society's current fear of AI, which is a big reason why you'll always see me saying please and thank you whenever I'm using ChatGPT. Hey, maybe your ass is okay worshiping your Ring doorbell for the rest of your life whenever AI decides to turn on us, but I'm putting in the legwork early to make sure I stay on the winning side here. But in all seriousness, I actually think making a successful horror comedy is one of the hardest things to do in the world of movie making, because knowing how to balance those two very conflicting tones is never an easy task to take on. And if I'm being completely honest, this film is definitely more of a full-on comedy than it is a horror movie, and not all of the jokes land, and some of them go on way longer than they should, but all of the gore, the practical effects, and just the general vibes that the film is putting out will do a commendable job appeasing fans of both genres. Now, when it comes to the performances, I think everybody in here did a pretty solid job. Our three leads are rounded out by Jaden Martell, Rachel Zegler, and Julian Dennison. They all know the roles they're supposed to be embodying, and they come off as realistic teenagers from the time period they're playing around in, even though absolutely none of them were alive when Y2K was a thing, making me feel old as shit, but that's beside the point. Kyle Mooney himself also stars in the film and brings a lot of the laughs throughout, but what really makes this movie special, it is something that just cannot be ignored, is that Fred Durst is in the movie and he is playing Fred Durst. Just trust me when I say that he fully understood the assignment here, and the second you leave the theater, you'll have this uncontrollable desire to play Limp Bizkit's greatest hits on full blast on the car ride home, even if you know it'll probably make your ears bleed. I think one of the best things about this movie is that you can just tell that it was made with a lot of heart, and that comes through the screen clearly in the final product. It definitely has a pretty low budget and probably didn't have the most generous filming schedule, but a lot of the messiness that comes with that and directorial debuts in general can sometimes make the film come off as more authentic in the end. And this movie definitely has that extra bit of charm to it. This feels like a 90s time capsule, and if you enjoy that style of film, there should be plenty here to keep you entertained, even if you've never owned a snap bracelet or a piece of inflatable furniture in your entire life. Overall, guys, I was surprised by how much I enjoyed my time with Y2K. I mean, sure, it kind of feels like an hour-and-a-half long SNL skit and can overstay its welcome a little from time to time, but I found myself laughing throughout a decent chunk of the movie despite that. The performances are solid, they nail the time period, and the soundtrack is filled with bangers from front to back. It's nothing groundbreaking, but if you actually grew up during the 90s, stop trying to sell your Beanie Babies for a second and go give this one a watch. Y2K gets a Sully score of 3.5 stars. So that's my review for the latest A24 film. What do you think your favorite disaster comedy movie is? I think I have to go with This Is the End, but let me know in the comments below what you think. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys at the next one.